somebody came up to me and said, you know you still fat. You still a big girl. You a BBW. Yeah, I can't pick you up. I would feel that. Not because it's true, but it's because it goes to my self-concept. What I think about myself, you just touched on. So what is the work? The work is not me losing more weight. The work is me feeling good in this body, so much so that when I come up to you and say that and it didn't touch you, you could come back and say that to me and it wouldn't touch me because it doesn't live in me.
Hey YouTube, you have made your way back to Mind Your Mind with Just Justified. So you saw the thumbnail. Let's talk about it. Your triggers are your responsibility. What do you think? All right, so I have a video where we can break that down a little bit more, right? Let's check it out.
One that was blinking and they said, don't push. They pushed it.
If the button wasn't there for them to push, they couldn't push it. The problem is with you. So you have to clean up the trigger. It's not that they stepped on your button, it's that you have the button for them to step on. Okay? So write this down. I take 100% responsibility for how I feel. No one can make me feel anything. That is what you first have to understand with emotional regulation. No one is making you feel. If anybody else on the inside of your body, let me know if y'all got two people on the inside of there. We got somebody else to call for that.
So what do you think? She's saying our response is 100% our responsibility, right? When we are triggered. So what I learned through my healing journey is that there are people who push your boundaries, and there are times you will feel triggered, but that also means that one, if you are triggered, that is, as she said, an unhealed area that needs your attention. Sorry about that. That is an unhealed area that needs your attention. And two, just because you feel triggered does not warrant an irate reaction. You still need to be emotionally regulated. So here's another video from that same lady, and she kind of make an example of how being triggered, how that looks. So let's check that out.
Coming up to you and being like, girl, you sure is ugly. You's an ugly girl. Ooh, child, I hope I never see you again because you's an ugly girl. How you gonna feel?
No way.
And you know you ain't ugly, right? So the things that hurt us, we feel that there is some truth there. Because I'll tell you this, somebody can come up to me and say, you's a dog. Like, you just dumb. And I'll be like, okay. I know I'm not dumb, right? But I have recently lost 60 pounds. If somebody came up to me and said, you know you still fat. You still a big girl. You a BBW. Yeah, I can't pick you up. I would feel that. Not because it's true, but it's because it goes to my self-concept. What I think about myself, you just touched on. So what is the work? The work is not me losing more weight. The work is me feeling good in this body, so much so that when I come up to you and say that and it didn't touch you, you could come back and say that to me and it wouldn't touch me because it doesn't live in me. Got it?
So did we see what she did, what she said? So she first went up to that girl and she was like, you sure is ugly. Now, that girl was unhinged, basically. Like, water off the back like a duck in water, you know? And that showed that, because in that girl's mind, she definitely does not believe that she's ugly. So whatever your concept is of her, oh well, it doesn't affect me. Now, she also said, now, okay, now if she were to say something about, oh, you look fat or whatever the situation is, knowing that she just lost some weight and that's something that, you know, she had in internal thoughts about, then of course that will be a triggering thing for her. If someone said, oh, you're fat, when she know that she did all this work and then to be said those words. So that's what we just talked about earlier, as in to say, if there's an unhealed part, so that means that something with what that person said about her still being fat resonated with her. Despite all the work that she did, something resonated with her that triggered something in her. So she knows now that that's something she needs to work on, as in to say, okay, how I feel about my weight loss journey and how I feel about myself. And so even no matter what anyone can say about me or whatever, this is what I think about myself and how I react to being told things like that, like triggers. So I thought that was very interesting when it came to talking about triggers. Now, here is another video about triggers from someone named Simone. I thought this was helpful.
About what it actually means to be triggered and how you can tell when you are. So when we're triggered, it's an indicator to our body that we're presently in danger and not safe. Very different than recalling an uncomfortable memory, because our brain and our body have a very difficult time recognizing that whatever triggered us is a feeling memory from the past. So how do you know if you're triggered? The largest thing is that triggered reactions are intense, sudden, and hard to shift. Your response is typically disproportionate to the actual event, and you might notice a lot of physical symptoms that come with it. That might be muscle tension, a pit in your stomach, tightness in your chest, shallow breathing. You might be doing something that you don't want to actually do or know that you shouldn't do. You might have this intense feeling of not belonging or feeling really abandoned and small.
Yeah, so that's definitely like, so there are physical reactions to being triggered, as you heard. And, you know, sometimes it can be anything as much as even like a memory of something or an experience that you experienced and things like that. So you got to kind of keep that in mind when you're thinking about being triggered, and, you know, leading towards what needs that attention, what needs that help. Lastly, I have this video. It's not going to be a long video. Lastly, I have this video about which I thought was like a great ending to talking about triggers.
Someone triggers you, what they're actually doing is inviting you into a deeper part of yourself that you haven't healed yet, right? Once you start to do the trauma work and the therapy work and heal your heart, you start to realize that your triggers are just pointing to your traumas. That whenever you're triggered and you react out of a space of not healed, then you are giving people your power. You're giving people your peace. You're giving people your freedom. And you start to do the work and you go, wow, this has nothing to do with what they said to me and everything to do with how I felt and how I responded and reacted. And so when you start to heal your heart, you start to actually, when someone triggers you, you look at that as a gift, an invitation to be like, dang, looks like I still have some work to do. Looks like I still have some things to reflect on. And as you heal, you start to still get triggered every once in a while, but you learn to regulate your nervous system. You learn to regulate and center into your truth of like, oh, wow, that one felt a certain way. That one made me feel a certain way, but I'm not going to react like they want me to react, right? I'm not going to respond how they want me to respond. I'm going to go inward and figure out like, how is this affecting me and why did it affect me? And that is the whole journey of healing and your triggers and your traumas, and understanding that everything is a gift and everything is inviting you deeper into self-love and self-reflection so that you can love them and love everyone around you. I love you guys. Peace.
Now, what I liked about this was that he kind of gave that idea of shifting how you approach triggers, as in when you see that it's getting to you, that is something that is a gift in a sense. That's what the word he used, a gift. So then it brings awareness to what needs that healing attention. So I really did like that way that he put it. And I also like that he looked at it about, not allowing people with how you react to those triggers to gain your power and your peace, to take away your power and your peace. So let's work on not letting people take away our power and our peace, no matter how much they try. Let's work on those areas that need that work, that healing. I'm not taking away that there are some people who intentionally overstep boundaries and try to trigger you. I'm not taking that away, but it's all about your power and your peace and not letting them take that away from you. So let's work on those triggers, right? So I do have a mindful moment question for you today. So the mindful moment question today is, if you realize you were triggered by something, what work did you do to start the healing process? If you realize you were triggered by something, what work did you do to start the healing process? I want to hear from you. Let's talk about it in the comments below, because we need to not give away our peace and our power. Let's work on our triggers, okay? Like when you see that you're triggered, let's work on our healing, actually. All right? So don't forget, we have to mind our mind, guys. Until the next one,